Hello, day two. Today we're looking at the literal questions with Sydney the kangaroo. I'm hoping you really enjoyed the story yesterday. If you can't remember it, don't worry, we're going to play Jump In again in just a second. But before we get to that, let's have a look at today's PowerPoint. So what is the title of our book? Correct, Sydney the kangaroo. And what type of text is this? Is this a fiction text or is this a non-fiction text? It is a fiction text. Do you know why? It's because it's not about real life. This is a made-up story. Let's see if you can remember the definitions for our words. I'm going to read the definition and you can try and tell me which word I am describing. To walk or leap with big steps. What does that mean? Is it bounded, twitched, pouch, fierce or pointed? It's bounded, isn't it? I bounded, which means I was walking or leaping with big steps. Next word. A pocket-like area in which marsupials carry their young. Can you remember what we call that pocket-like area? Where did Sydney sit? That's right, he was in a pouch. If I'm looking aggressive, I might be being fierce. Well done. A sharpened tip or end. I haven't got many words left to choose from. Is it pointed or is it twitched? It's pointed, isn't it? Yes, it's pointed. A sharpened tip or end is pointed, a bit like a pencil. Which means my last one, calls to move by giving a sharp pull, must be twitched. Well done for giving those a go. We are now going to play Jump In. I hope you enjoy. Hi Year 2. So let's play Jump In with our book Kangaroo, or should I say Sydney the kangaroo. Sydney the kangaroo. Sydney was born in the red dust of the Australian bush. As soon as he was born, he climbed up his mother's fur towards her pouch and climbed inside. He felt safe and warm in there. Sydney stayed in his mother's pouch for many months. He grew bigger and his back, legs and tail grew longer. Soft grey fur grew all over him. His ears became pointed, just like his mother's. Then, one day, Sydney was big enough to peep out of the pouch. The bright light made him blink as he felt the warm sun for the first time. A gentle breeze tickled his face. Sydney watched his mother bend down to eat grass. Sydney tried to eat some too. The next thing he knew, he was rolling on the ground and his mother was looking down at him. He had tumbled out of her pouch As Sydney got older, he spent more and more time out of the pouch. He learned to hop and jump, springing into the air with his strong back legs. Well done, Sydney, said his mother proudly. You will grow up to be a big, strong kangaroo. One warm afternoon, Sydney and his mother went looking for some fresh, tasty grass to eat. Suddenly, his mother's nose twitched. Dingoes, she hissed, sniffing the air. Sydney looked up, frightened. In the distance, he could see a band of wild dogs. Dingoes. They looked fierce and hungry. Sydney dived into his mother's pouch. He trembled when he heard the dogs begin to howl. Sydney's mother stood still. She hoped the hungry dingoes would not see or smell her, but they came closer and until she knew she had to get away. Hold tight, she whispered to Sydney. Then, with great flying leaps, she bounded away through the... Sydney was afraid he might fall out, but his mother had tightened her pouch, so he was safe. Sydney peeped out and saw the dingoes close behind, howling and snarling. Run, mother, run, he cried. Sydney's mother ran as fast as she could, but she soon grew tired. She knew she would have to stand and fight. The dingoes closed in on her, trying to bite. She kicked them and scratched them and kept them away from little Sydney. Just then, a great buck kangaroo appeared. He was a giant of a kangaroo with a creamy chest and a broad red back. He thumped his tail on the ground when he saw the dingoes, and then he leapt at them. The dingoes were so frightened of the great buck that they ran away. Then the great buck smiled at Sydney and bounded off into the haze of the late afternoon. In the cool of the evening, Sydney curled up in his mother's pouch, safe again. Soon I'll be too big for your pouch, Mother, said Sydney. Yes, soon you'll be a big, strong kangaroo, just like the great buck, replied his mother. Sydney closed his eyes, went to sleep, and dreamed about fighting dingoes.
So today we're looking at our literal questions, which means we should be able to be detectives, go straight into the text and pull out the answer. It's the same as last week. Read the question, underline the key words, find the evidence, reread the question and check that you've definitely answered it. Read the question. Is Sydney's mum covered in fur? How do you know? Underline the key words. Sydney's mum, fur. How do you know? Okay, let's read the section of text.
Sydney was born in the red dust of the Australian bush. As soon as he was born, he climbed up his mother's fur towards her pouch and climbed inside. Hang on, fur, that's in the question. Is Sydney's mum covered in fur? He climbed up his mother's fur towards her pouch. Yes, Sydney's mother is covered in fur. Yes, Sydney's mother is covered in fur. I know this because it says Sydney climbed up his mother's fur. Full stop. Let's read the question and check I've answered it. Is Sydney's mum covered in fur? How do you know? Yes, Sydney's mother is covered in fur, and I know this because it says Sydney climbed up his mother's fur. You're going to have questions like these today. They look like this. Where did Sydney feel safe and warm? True or false? Sydney grew bigger and bigger. What made Sydney's eyes close? List 3 things Sydney learnt to do. And how did Sydney feel after his mother bounded away from the dingoes? I hope you enjoy filling out your sheet.